What's up, everybody? It's Marie again, and this is Cozy Arcade Corner. Thanks so much for being here. I hope y'all like that little clip of what is behind me. I've gotten a couple questions of people asking, what is behind you, Marie? It looks like you've got a ton of things, in your background. And so, yes, lots of Star Wars stuff, Disney stuff, Sanrio things, some pop figures and all of that. So I hope y'all enjoyed that little sneak peek. That is where the magic happens. So yeah, but let's get started. Episode 3, let's go. So I played a new game this week. I played Old Man's Journey. Thank you so much for a couple of y'all that have suggested and recommended Old Man's Journey to me. I really like this game because it was a short, completable game. I think I got it done in about 2 hours, and it was just such a nice game, such a sweet game. It's a puzzle adventure where you play as the old man and you really interact and manipulate the world around him as you help him kind of move forward on this journey. Like, he's trying to get to X destination, and so you manipulate the landscape in different ways. That's kind of the puzzle part of it, and it was just really great. Like, you do experience his journey. There's flashbacks in terms of like what he's experienced throughout his life. You see the choices he's made, decisions he's made. You experience his heartache, his hope, his life, his loss, his love, all of that. And it made me cry at the end. And I think I'm realizing, for some reason, I love games that make me cry. I think that just is something really special when it comes to video games for me. I love when it really like pulls at my heartstrings. So, highly recommend Old Man's Journey for everyone who wants to try it. If you want to just kind of fall into a world where you get your heartstrings pulled and really just have a great time, solving some puzzles and just watching this character's literal journey. So thank you again for anyone and everyone who suggested and recommended that game to me. Last week was a super fun week. Wholesome Games on Steam had a very, very special celebration where they had some really deep discounts on wholesome and cozy games. So that was definitely what I was doing last week. I think 90% of my wish list is cozy and wholesome games. So I had to get strategic and figure out what games I was going to buy. I got it down to 2. So I ended up buying Button City, which is a narrative adventure game about a fox and his friends that are banding together to save their local arcade. So I thought that was really cool. You explore kind of their diorama world. You play arcade games and you go on these quirky quests and just meet all the different animal friends. And of course, I just thought it was so resonant for me where it's a cozy game and you save an arcade. So Cozy Arcade kind of came together there. So I'm really excited about that one. So highly recommend if you want to check that one out with me. I haven't started it yet, but it might be cool to like play it with some folks at the same time, and maybe we can get together and talk about it and see what y'all thought. The next game that I bought was Yoku's Island Express. And this is where you play as Yoku. He's a pint-sized postman on this island. And it is a game that combines like platformer aspects as well as pinball mechanics as you explore this world, this island that he's on. And I'm really excited. This was also recommended to me, and for any of my friends out there who know me, I love pinball. So finding this platformer pinball game was really, really fun. So I'm excited about this. And again, have not started it yet, but has been on my wish list, and I have it. So feel free to play the game if you haven't played it, or if you have played it and want to talk about it with me, definitely let me know. But I'm really excited to start this one soon. no actual game news this week, but wanted to just plug Netflix games. We released 5 games in the month of July alone, which is great. And I think overall our portfolio is about 70 games now, which is really exciting. And so if you did not know Netflix has games, yes, we do. It is on mobile. If you're iOS or Android, you can find it in the App Store, on the Netflix app. And all you have to be is a Netflix subscriber to get access to them all. So in July, we released Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. That comes from one of our internal studios, Night School Studios. So congratulations to them. Sonic Prime Dash, Too Hot to Handle 2, The Queen's Gambit Chess. All 3 of those games are really exciting to be out because they do tie into shows that are on Netflix. So if you are a Sonic fan, Too Hot to Handle fan, or a Queen's Gambit fan, you can check those out. And then the last game that we got in July was Cut the Rope Daily. So anyone who's feeling nostalgic about Cut the Rope, playing that in the early 2000s, you get that game with Netflix. And the reason why it's called Cut the Rope Daily is because every day you log in and you get a new puzzle, which I think is really cool. So hopefully encourages people to come back and keep playing that game. I'm really excited about just tracking all of our games. One thing that I've been trying to do is play our entire portfolio. And so I'm thinking maybe somewhere on my screen somewhere, I'll kind of just put a tracker, like how many games Netflix has right now, and how many games I have played. Because again, like my goal is that I would love to just say that I've played the entire portfolio. You know, I started with Netflix when we made the announcement we were getting into games. So I think that just might be fun to track. So keep an eye on that tracker in this episode and in future ones and see how far I get. But, you know, we're releasing so many games and there's just so many great ones and I don't have enough time in the day, but we'll see how I do. So I've been asked, what is my actual thoughts around networking, right? I've been on LinkedIn for a while and a lot of people have seen, you know, my content on like, you know, pushing networking in your job search. You know, is it real? Is it true? You know, should you actually be doing that? Am I just saying it to say it because it's a buzzword now? But what are my actual thoughts? And I will say, I think personally, I believe that networking is becoming a necessity now in your job search, right? I mean, you can still go about job searching by, you know, applying, right? Getting your resume in tip-top shape and submitting it in the application and waiting. Absolutely, that still happens. And there are people who are getting jobs, you know, by just doing that. However, I definitely believe that networking, just helps to supplement and elevates that job search, right? Like I feel that when you network while you're also applying for jobs, like you're just giving yourself other ways to stay, you know, relevant on skill sets, relevant on what's going on in the industry, things that you should know and be learning about that, you know, if you were to get eventually an interview, you know, those are things that you can talk about. Really just having, you know, that access to information, right? I think networking really just gives insight to things that you just can't, that sometimes you can't Google or sometimes you can't just look up somewhere, right? Like really understanding someone who's been in the job and actually doing it for a very long time, or maybe someone just got into that job. So networking with them to see like, hey, how did you do it? What was your job search like? And how did you land that opportunity? You know, I think there's just so many ways that networking can really benefit your job search. And so that's just me, you know, myself, my opinion is that I think networking is such a necessity now, you know, in the job search. And I think everyone should at least try it, right? At least incorporate that into your job search strategy and see if it works out, right? Like I honestly would be very surprised if it didn't work out in some positive form. I think the one thing is that you should not think that networking equals a job, right? Like, again, it's more of a supplement to the job search. You know, you should be learning, you should be gaining some type of mentorship or guidance or direction. But that isn't to say that you would get a job just because you were networking. But what's great is that while you're networking, again, you're meeting people, you're learning, you're getting insight to things that, may not be easily accessible through a Google search or just, reading a book or reading an article. Like, you're actually getting to have conversations with people. And that part is really, really important. So if you haven't tried networking yet, or, you are thinking about it and you're unsure if that's, a good case to have while you're job searching, absolutely would say, start doing it, take baby steps, network within the communities that you already familiar with, right? It doesn't have to be, hey, I'm going to go reach out to some unknown person and shoot my shot. Of course, you can do that, but start with friends, start with relatives, start with, people who are 1 or 2 degrees from you, and just start there. And then you can start expanding by reaching out to folks that, might be further away in terms of degrees. But I think it's great to just start, where you are with who you know, and then work your way up from there. So definitely yes to networking. Absolutely think it's a necessity in the job search. So highly recommend it. Well, that is it for me this week on Cozy Arcade Corner, episode 3. Thank you so much for being here again. If you have been following along and enjoying this journey with me, thank you for watching and commenting and subscribing. It really does mean a lot to me. So yeah, please continue to engage and have conversations with me. Reach out. I love hearing from y'all and seeing what's resonating and what is meaningful for you as you spend some time in this little corner of the world with me. So thank you again, and we will see you next week. Bye.